Hi students, welcome to Genius Blossom. In this video, we are going to revise Class 9 Biology Chapter 5, the fundamental unit of life in a smart and exam style way. First, I will give you a full set of multiple choice questions, just like a real question paper. And the answers, it will not be shown immediately. You try to solve them in your own. And after all questions are over, I will show you the correct options so you can check your answers, and then we will move on to the most important 2 mark, 3 mark and 5 mark questions with simple explanations. And so get ready with your notebook and pen, and let us begin the revision with Genius Blossom. Cells with a true nucleus are called options: A. Prokaryotic, B. Eukaryotic, C. Anaerobic, D. Mononeurons. The function of the vacuole in plant cells include options: A. Digestion, B. Respiration, C. Storage and maintaining turgidity, D. Transport. Which organelle is directly involved in the formation of lysosomes? A. Golgi body, B. Ribosome, C. Mitochondria, D. Endoplasmic reticulum. In osmosis, water moves from A. High solute to low solute concentration, B. High water to low water concentration, C. Equal concentrations, D. Low to high pressure. Cell organelles are embedded in options: A. Nucleus, B. Cytoplasm, C. Cell membrane, D. Chromatin. Mitosis results in the formation of A. Two identical daughter cells, B. Four different cells, C. One large cell, D. No new cell. The folded inner membrane of mitochondria is called A. Grana, B. Stroma, C. Crista, D. Thylakoid. The liquid content inside the central vacuole is called A. Cytoplasm, B. Nucleoplasm, C. Cell sap, D. Mucus. Which organelle is called the suicide bag of the cell? A. Nucleus, B. Lysosome, C. Ribosome, D. Golgi body. The process of taking in food particles by the cell membrane is A. Exocytosis, B. Diffusion, C. Endocytosis, D. Osmosis. Cells that do not have a nuclear membrane are called A. Eukaryotic, B. Prokaryotic, C. Unicellular, D. Multicellular. Vacuoles are large and central in options: A. Animal cell, B. Human cells, C. Plant cells, D. Bacterial cells. The site of respiration in a cell is A. Nucleus, B. Lysosome, C. Mitochondria, D. Ribosome. Why is the nucleus known as the brain of the cell? Options: A. It produces energy, B. It synthesizes food, C. It controls all activities of the cell, D. It gives shape to the cell. Which of these is a function of the plasma membrane? A. DNA replication, B. Protein packaging, C. Regulates entry and exit of materials, D. Produces enzymes. What is the outermost boundary of the animal cell? A. Cell wall, B. Cytoplasm, C. Cell membrane, D. Nucleus. Which part of the nucleus contains the genetic material? A. Nucleolus, B. Nucleoplasm, C. Chromatin, D. Ribosome. Which organelle modifies, sorts and packages proteins? A. Endoplasmic reticulum, B. Lysosome, C. Golgi apparatus, D. Ribosome. Which structure gives rigidity and shape to the plant cell? A. Nucleus. B. Cell membrane. C. Cytoplasm. D. Cell wall. Which organelle stores food, waste and water in cells? A. Lysosome. B. Vacuole. C. Nucleolus. And D. Ribosome. Which of the following are not found in animal cells? A. Lysosome. B. Mitochondria. C. Vacuoles. D. Plastids. Who proposed that all cells arise from pre-existing cells? A. Schleiden. B. Schwann. C. Virchow. D. Hooke. The organelle that acts as the waste disposal system of the cell is A. Golgi apparatus. B. Lysosome. C. Vacuole. D. Nucleus. Which cell organelle helps in the synthesis of fats? A. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. B. Golgi apparatus. C. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. D. Ribosome. Which organelle is responsible for energy production? A. Ribosome. B. Lysosome. C. Mitochondria. D. Nucleus. Cell wall in plant cells is mainly composed of A. Protein. B. Cellulose. C. Lipid. D. Starch. Lysosomes help in A. Protein synthesis. B. Photosynthesis. C. Digestion of worn out cell parts. D. Energy production. Chromosomes are made up of A. DNA and lipids. B. DNA and proteins. C. RNA and proteins. D. Proteins and starch. The process by which water moves through a semi-permeable membrane is called A. Diffusion. B. Osmosis. C. Active transport. D. Plasmolysis. The cell membrane is primarily made up of A. Carbohydrates. B. Lipids and proteins. C. Nucleic acids. D. Sugars and starch. The rough endoplasmic reticulum appears rough due to the presence of A. Vacuoles. B. Lysosomes. C. Ribosomes. D. Plastids. A lysosome bursts inside a cell due to malfunction. What will most likely happen? A. Cell multiplies. B. Cell performs photosynthesis. C. Cell dies. D. Cell divides. The term selectively permeable refers to A. Allowing all substance to pass. B. Allowing only water to pass. C. Allowing only selected substance to pass. D. Blocking all molecules. A unicellular organism performs which of the following functions? Only reproduction, only nutrition, only respiration, D. All life processes. Which part of the plant cell allows it to maintain its shape even when water is lost during plasmolysis? A. Nucleus. B. Cytoplasm. C. Cell wall. D. Cell membrane. Why do onion cells not have chloroplasts? A. They are underground and don't perform photosynthesis. B. They are animal cells. C. They are transparent. D. They have mitochondria instead. A student places a plant cell in sugar syrup and sees the cell membrane shrink. What would she do to make the cell normal again? A. Add salt. B. Add more syrup. C. Add distilled water. D. Boil the cell. The cell theory was jointly proposed by A. Schleiden and Schwann, B. Hooke and Leeuwenhoek, C. Watson and Crick, D. Virchow and Schleiden. Which organelle acts like a packaging and delivery system like a courier in a city? A. Lysosome, B. Golgi apparatus, C. Mitochondria, D. Ribosome. Which of the following is not a function of the plasma membrane? Which of the following is not a function of the plasma membrane. A. Transport of materials. B. Providing shape to the cell. C. Providing energy to the cell. D. Protection of cell contents. Which cell organelle contains its own DNA? A. Golgi apparatus. B. Mitochondria. C. Ribosome. D. Lysosome. The structural and functional unit of life is A. Tissue. B. Cell. C. Organ. D. Organ system. Which organelle is known as the powerhouse of the cell? A. Ribosome. B. Nucleus. C. Mitochondria. D. Golgi apparatus. Which of the following is not a cell organelle? A. Nucleus. B. Mitochondria. C. Xylem. D. Golgi apparatus. Now we will discuss the most important short and long answer questions that often come in exams. Why is the cell called the structural and functional unit of life? The cell is called the structural unit because all living organisms, they are made up of cells. And it is called the functional unit because all essential life processes like respiration, growth, nutrition, etc. occur inside the cell, and that is without cells life cannot exist. So it is said that cell is the structural and functional unit of life. What will happen if a plant cell is placed in a hypertonic solution? If a plant cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, then water will move out of the plant cell due to osmosis. And this causes the cell membrane to shrink away from the cell wall. That is a process known as plasmolysis occur. Why is the plasma membrane called selectively permeable membrane? The plasma membrane allows only certain substances to pass in and out of the cell while it blocks the movement of others. And this selective movement, it maintains the internal environment of the cell and controls exchange with the surroundings. So we can say that plasma membrane is a selectively permeable membrane. What is the function of the nucleus in a cell? The nucleus, it controls all cell activities like a growth, metabolism, reproduction, etc. And it contains chromosomes made up of DNA and proteins, and this DNA, it carries genetic information passed from one generation to the next. Differentiate between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells with examples. We know that prokaryotic cells, they do not have a true nucleus or well-defined nucleus, or they do not have membrane-bound organelles, and their genetic material, it is not enclosed in a nuclear membrane. Example, bacteria. Then eukaryotic cells, they have a well-defined nucleus, or they have a true nucleus, and they have membrane-bound organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, etc. And they are structurally complex also. And examples, plant and animal cells. Explain osmosis with an example. Osmosis, it is the movement of water particles through a selectively permeable membrane from a region of higher concentration, higher water concentration, to a region of lower water concentration. Example, if a resin is placed in water, it absorbs water and it swells because water moves into the cells through osmosis. What are the functions of vacuoles in plant cells? Vacuoles in plant cells, they store food, waste, water and other substances, and they also help maintaining the internal pressure or turgor pressure, and this turgor pressure, it keeps the plant cell firm. And a large central vacuole, it also supports the structure of the plant by pressing the cytoplasm against the cell wall. Explain the functions of the following organelles: nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus and lysosomes. Nucleus. Nucleus, it contains the genetic information, or it stores genetic information. It controls cells activities. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It produces energy through respiration. Endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum helps in the synthesis of protein because it has ribosomes in it. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it synthesizes fat or lipid molecules. Also, it also detoxifies harmful substances. Golgi apparatus, it stores, modifies and packages the proteins and lipids. Then lysosome break down waste materials and unwanted cell parts, and it is also known as the suicidal bags of the cell. Make a comparison and write down ways in which plant cells are different from animal cells. Plant cells and animal cells, they are different in many ways, and plant cells, they have a cell wall, large vacuole and plastids like a chloroplast. Animal cells, they do not have a cell wall, they do not have plastids, and their vacuoles are so small. And also lysosomes, they are more common in animal cells. What would happen if the plasma membrane ruptures or breaks down? If the plasma membrane breaks, then the cell cannot protect itself anymore. That is, useful things will leak out or harmful things can enter into the cell. That is, the cell won't survive without its membrane. Which organelle is known as the powerhouse of the cell and why? The mitochondria are called the powerhouse of the cell because they make energy from food, and this energy, it is stored in the form of ATP, and the cell uses it to do all its work. Where do the lipids and proteins constituting the cell membrane get synthesized? Lipids, they are made in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and proteins are made in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and then they are sent to the Golgi body, and this Golgi body, it helps to deliver them to the cell membrane. How does an amoeba obtain its food? Amoeba uses its flexible plasma membrane to surround the food and take it food inside, and this process is known as endocytosis, and the food is then digested inside the cell. Which type of cell division is required for growth and repair of the body, and which type is involved in the formation of gametes? Mitosis, it helps the body grow and repair itself by making new cells, and meiosis, it is needed to make gametes like sperm, egg cells, and there the chromosome number becomes half. Dear students, you have now completed the revision of the chapter, the fundamental unit of life, and you tried the MCQs like a real test, checked your answers, then done some of the most important 2 mark, 3 mark, and 5 mark questions with clear explanations. And this will help you understand the chapter better and prepare well for school exams. And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Genius Blossom. Keep learning and see you in the next class.